We are back on Nittany Game Week. The men's lacrosse team is one of the few teams still together at this point of the season. Now only 3 wins from a national championship. Had a chance to ask head coach Jeff Tambroni what makes this year's team unique. And he tells us why their mindset will not stray from concentrating on this week's opponent. Look, for Princeton, they're going to talk about, hey, we're a different team than we were on Valentine's Day 3 months ago. But, fact is, so are you guys. And teams really grow during a season. So I guess the psychological advantage of taking the field against a team you've already beaten during the year, and then what areas of your team has really grown in those 3 months of the season as well? Because I know everybody has.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great question, and I think the advantage it goes both ways. It's an advantage and a disadvantage. Like anytime you go in there and you play against someone that you've beaten, certainly you garner certain confidence from that. So I think that is a positive. At the same time, if we've gone in there and we've lost to someone, man, it's an easy way to just generate emotion and momentum going into the game because you don't want to see it happen again. So you have their attention immediately. So I think there's both plus and minus, advantage, disadvantage in that. But I think both teams have grown significantly, and I think we have learned certainly from our Princeton win the first time around and others. But I would say we've learned equal parts from the games that we've lost. And most of it is just preparing more consistently. I don't think we've changed significantly as a team. I just think we've prepared more consistent with more purpose as the season has gone on in an attempt to try to eliminate so many of the high peaks and low valleys of our play, both in game and from week to week. So hopefully one of the things that we can implement and do a better job of this time around is just be more consistent from start to finish. Hopefully be prepared to play the game that we're capable of, just our potential. And there's 2 teams out there we can't control their play, but we can control how hard we play, how well we play. But most importantly, what I hope we'll do is take the lesson of consistency and apply that to this weekend's contest.
There's some teams that will look at getting to the quarterfinals and say, hey, we're just 1 win from the Final Four. And then there's others that'll look at it and say, hey, we're 3 wins from the national championship. I think it's a little bit easier to put that mindset into a group that just was at the Final Four, a lot of them that way. How have you kind of been dealing, you and the staff been implementing that particular mindset with this team, when it comes to, the Final Four is great, but that's not the ultimate destination and keeping that mindset going?
Yeah. Well, so we've tried 2 things very, very actively on this. And number one is just try to narrow the focus of our guys to 2 teams, to Penn State and Princeton. That's it. And I think it's important for our guys to just think more honestly about Penn State because it's what we can control, how hard we play, how focused we are in meetings. So we've started there and we've worked hard every day to start every meeting, to start every practice with what's important today. Like if we're not going to win on Sunday, let alone think about the Final Four national championship unless today is productive. So we've tried to actually narrow it, not even to think about, well, what if we win here or win the next 2 or 3 games, whatever the case may be. Knowing our team and where we've been throughout the course of the year, we are just much better with smaller patches of real estate in front of us and trying to manage that. And we've learned that from some of our early season losses. So I think at the end of the day, these guys are really good if it's a smaller goal, smaller kind of a waypoint, so to speak, that we can look out to, and that is honestly today at 3:00. That'll be it. Just can we win today by being more productive, by playing hard, by sticking true to who we are, and if that's the case, well, let's get up tomorrow and figure out where we went wrong, where we went right, and then do it again or do it better, whatever the case may be.
Just lastly, from my perspective, look, you want these things to run out all the way, of course. And that's, you want 3 more games to be with this group, that type of stuff. But, you know how this works. You get to this time of the year and time is limited no matter what, even if you reach that goal. So this particular group, what kind of group have you been dealing with? What are the things that you appreciate about them as people and kids? And, whether it's they're a little bit more goofy than the last couple of groups, a little bit more serious, whatever. Give us some insight as to what you guys enjoy when you're around this group.
So I know, man, I've been a head coach for 26 years, and it's my perspective continues to change in a good way. The kids stay the same. The kids stay the same. I think, you hear sometimes the narrative of, oh, the kids these days, they've changed. And I don't necessarily agree or buy into that. I think, we as coaches, we as parents tend to change a little bit in terms of our expectations on these young men and young women. I have three daughters. But I think for the most part, they're, 18, 19, they're very impressionable. They do want direction. Um, but as young men, sometimes they'll push back a little bit to figure out, how far they can go, which is a good thing. That's what they should be doing at that age. But I have enjoyed, and I think my perspective, the older I get, um, seems to be a little bit wiser in terms of who they are and what they need, and I need them as much as they need, hopefully, us as a coaching staff. And this group has been, it's super close, I would say, off the field, which I think has proved to be a extremely valuable asset on the field. I think when you go through good times, your relationships off the field are not necessarily as relevant because you're enjoying success every day, and that's everybody wants to be a part of that. I think you're truly testing when things aren't going that well on the field, and I think it's a testament and a credit to this group and how tight they are off the field. It is truly a group that has invested in one another. We have really pushed hard, definitely around our facility, to get off their phones, to invest in each other, to figure out ways, more creative ways to have conversations, to play hacky sack, to just continue to bond as human beings need the sense of belonging. And I do think, honestly, it's paid off. And I think these guys have really become close, not just because of that, but because of their experiences, because of the culture that they're a part of and they're creating. So I would say it's been a lot of fun. I would say it's a very tight-knit group from top to bottom. I don't get the sense the quote unquote chain of command is as widespread as it has been in some years. And in some years that's a positive because you have a clear-cut leader. This group just has a lot of really good just people. We do have captains, we do have seniors, but I think all in all, it is just a group of guys that really respects each other and feels like every one of them has a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging that has been very productive in the journey thus far.